story. I got sentenced to 144 years in prison. True story. And that's part of the reason, one of the reasons that I get up here every single day that I can, that I got an opportunity to speak about prison, the conditions, the realities of it all, the traumas that are attached to it, for a multitude of more reasons, which is like being a voice for my brothers that are still behind the wall, sisters, juveniles as well. Many of them that may never be able to be a voice for themselves or may never be able to find their own voice, man. I want to shout out or show support for the loved ones of the family members of those that have people incarcerated, man. Y'all might not be inside the prison cell, but you're going through it. You're going through it. You're spending money on commissary, putting money on the phone, whatever it is, you're going through it. You're taking those trips. You're going to the visitation room. You're being exposed to shakedowns. I was telling somebody before, I didn't see my mother for over 7 years while I was in prison. I asked her to not come anymore because of what she was exposed to when she came to the prison through the shakedown procedures, what the COs would say to her. It was bad enough that I had to be in there. So it's just my idea that, if I can't protect her from it, I can protect her by asking her, hey, Ma, don't come visit me at prison. I'll call you, and that's it. We'll stay connected like that. Shout out to the family members. Shout out to the individuals that are coming home from prison that just came home, that are fighting for staying free. Y'all already know, man, stay free is not just content, man. It's community. It's a call to action because too many of us are going back. Too many of us, man. That's why I make this content, is reminders, educational pieces, all of that. Today's topic, man, specifically is mental health. I'm not going to say specifically because if y'all got questions, put them in the chat, man. But for my people that are coming home from prison, you good? Like, honestly, like I want to ask you from a real place, like, are you good? And the reason I'm saying that is because the numbers of individuals that are coming home from incarceration and deciding that they no longer want to be here are going up. You understand what I'm saying? I see y'all, man. Photo booth, what's good? A lot of people are coming home and saying, I can't even deal with life. There's a scene in Shawshank Redemption, Birdman, he makes parole, he comes home. He can't quite fit into society. He had been gone for so long that when he came home, everything that he knew was gone and he just couldn't fit in. The world that he knew was prison. That was the reality that he began to thrive in. He was in there for so long that the men that were in there became his brothers, his family. So when he made parole, he was confused. He was lost because his support system was gone. Think about that. But that's the reality for many. That's the reality for many. There's a percentage of individuals that are in prison for 10, 15, 20 years, 25 years. Freedom is gone. The world is gone. What goes on in the inside is their value. Some of these guys, they get these jobs. That's their job. That's their value. They wake up every morning. They do the floors over and over again. They strip the floors. They wax the floor. They do it with such pride, as if they're getting paid thousands of dollars, and they're barely getting paid pennies. But this is where their value is at. Darkness was good. Korath was good. Everybody, what's going on, y'all? It's real, man. Prison is a place that corrupts the mind in such a way that you'll start to think that freedom is incarceration. Incarceration is freedom. I mean, think about it for a second. Everybody knows what prison is. People see the videos. They know how crazy it is. They know how you can get messed up in there. They know that you don't see your family. They know that you're not free. They know that COs run your life. But still, a good percentage of people out there, and it's not just young people either, man. They out there in the streets playing with their lives, gambling, and for what? You know what prison is. And there's also a percentage, well, it ain't never happened to me. Well, you know how many people are sitting in prison right now with long, lengthy sentences that never thought they'd ever go? They never thought they'd go. It's real. It's real. But, so Birdman, he couldn't acclimate. And eventually he said, I no longer wanted to be here. And what's going on, because art imitates life, that is going on at an all-time level now, man. Spence said, mind me asking, how was you locked up for? How long? I was locked up for 16 years, 11 months. And yes, yeehaw, there are people that are in prison that are falsely accused. I just put something up on one of my pages that said, like over 53 years he was incarcerated, falsely imprisoned, wrongly accused. I appreciate that, Darkness. Think about that, but that's the reality of the situation. Everybody that sits behind those walls is not free. Somebody said, what I do, GTA? No, well, I was the driver in a robbery. I'll tell you the story in case y'all are, because, you know, people be like, yo, you know, what did you get locked up for? Well, let me tell you. And mind you, everybody that's watching this live, there's a playlist, man. How I got 144 years, man. 144 playlist. Just hit play and go, man. I promise you, it's a pretty good story. And I tell it in such a way that I really want y'all to understand what happens in prison, right? But essentially, and I appreciate everybody, man, on the live, man. One night, I'm at my cousin's house. And my cousin and his friends are there. And I pull up. I don't really have that much of a social circle. At this time, I had got kicked out the military. I was in the United States Air Force, enlisted at 17. I got in trouble. I wasn't ready. I barely lasted 2 years. Through 9/11, all that. But I got angry when they sent me to Minot, North Dakota. I'm not going to lie. Everybody else was going to Cali and getting stationed. I got mad, got into it, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, I'm in Virginia. I don't have a social circle. I'm hanging out with my cousin. He's like 10 years older, his friends. And I'm over there at his apartment one day, and he's like, hey, yo, cuz. Hey, I need you to drive me up the street. So I'm looking at him like, okay, where you need to go? We need to go to like 7-Eleven or something. We need to go to Food Lion. What do we need to do? Where do you need to go? He says, nah, I got to make a move. What you mean you got to make a move? When I ask him that, his homeboys, his two homeboys, they just looking at me, but they're not looking at me like in a threatening way. They just like, what's up? You know, they body language is everything. It's 85% of language is nonverbal. So he said, nah, we gotta go take care of something. I said, what you mean you gotta go take care of something? He said, I'm behind on the rent. I owe some people some money. Blah, blah, blah. He's just running down this list. And I'm like, yo, my bad, but I'm not taking you somewhere, because all of a sudden I can just tell. You know how somebody gets explaining something, you just know it's some snake activity or something that ain't right is in the midst. I felt it. It's like I felt it, right? The energy. But I was the youngest one in the room. And he's like, oh, come on, cut. You ain't gonna drive me up the street. Come on, man. You ain't even gotta get out the truck. I'm like, whoa, what you talking about? Why we ain't gotta get out the truck? So he's like, man, I'm gonna go stick the place up. He said, we're gonna go in there. You just wait. We're gonna come back out. I said, no, you tripping. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna drive y'all up the street. We're gonna get in trouble. We going to jail. You are tripping. What are you talking about? He says, come on, man. You my cousin. You my family. I need you, man. The other dude's looking at me, you know. And listen, let me tell you something. I made the decision, but peer pressure was at play. I didn't want to be the chicken. I didn't want to be the one that backed out. Anybody that's watching this, I hope that you're a stronger leader than I was back then. Now, I'm hard-headed. You can't tell me to do nothing. Back then, though, I was a leader, but under certain situations, I would fold, and this would be one of them. Because this is family. You don't turn your back on family. Oh man, we ain't gonna get in trouble. And the reason I agreed, if anybody's wondering, is because as we're talking, he walked to the bedroom. He came back out with the thing that he was gonna use, the pew pew. Yeah. And he told me, he's like, man, it's not real. It's a fake one. So being that it was a fake one, now in my mind, I'm starting to justify. And keep in mind, I'm 19 years old. No harm and disrespect. I'm 42 now. I think way different than when I did when I was 19. I'm just saying. But as he's saying it's a fake one, I'm like, okay, cool. Ain't nobody gonna, because he's like, ain't nobody gonna get hurt. I'm like, you right about that, because that's fake. Can't nothing be done with that. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I take them up there, I'm not gonna get out the truck. They don't have a real jump. There's no way I'm gonna. Man, come on. Because they kept talking and talking the whole time. Like, come on, man, let's just go. He says, just wait. And we chilled for about an hour. Just in the living room. They were having a drink, whatever they was doing. And I was waiting, and I remember the whole time I was kind of trying to just like muster up the courage to just be like, cuz I'm out, I ain't gonna do it. But I didn't. And next thing I know, he's like, all right, let's go. And here's the really crazy part. I didn't even ask him where we were going. We got in the truck, and this is before a lot of y'all time, but back then, Styles P, Gangsta, and the Gentleman was out. CDs was still a thing. I think I had the 5-disc player in the Isuzu Rodeo, dark blue joint with the gray trim. Y'all don't know about it. I had that. And we get in there and we driving, and it's a cold October. It's rainy. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them nights, man. And I appreciate everybody liking the live, sharing and everything right now, man. This how I got 144 years right here. But it's cold and it's rainy, and we driving up there. And remember I told you I didn't even know where we were going. He would just tell me, go left, go right, go left. And my anxiety is just building up. And I remember I'm so scared at the time. I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna call grandma or something and just tell her like, yo, like I'm just trying to come up with anything. Like I don't want it. But before I knew it, we there. He said, park over here. And now we here, because as soon as he said park, it's almost like, I don't know if y'all ever experienced where you were driving somewhere and you remember starting the car, but all of a sudden you were there and you know you were driving, but you just weren't fully present, if that makes sense. And next thing I know, he's like, yo, park over there. And we park and they hop out. Everybody throws the bandanas on. They run it, boom, I can't see them. They go off in the darkness. And for about 2 minutes, I'm sitting there in my head. I know I'm not going to pull off on them because my cousin's there and I don't want it. But man, I wanted up out of there. But it's too late. I've already committed to the act. But at the same time, I'm like, if they get caught, I'm not going to get in trouble. It's going to be all good. You know what I'm saying? And next thing I know, in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it felt like 2 hours though. Don't get it twisted. They come back. Doors open. Lights kick off in the truck. I see money flying from my cousin's arms onto the street. He's like, yo, go, go. He's trying to jump in. His homeboy in the back talking about, I dropped my bandana that he had on his face. Now, doors slam. We gone. In my mind, as I'm trying to get us up out of there, I don't turn the headlights on. We driving in the dark. I almost hit somebody. Blow the stop sign. We trying to take all back roads. Because I didn't know where we were going, but I knew how to get back once we were there. And the whole time in my mind, I'm just trying to come up with this, like, yo, maybe the rain or the wind blew the money away or the fingerprints up off it. Maybe the bandana went down a sewer or something because it was raining. Like, I'm coming up with all these types of things and thoughts in my head because I'm already knowing it's sloppy. If I don't know nothing else, and I've never really been in the streets, but I got common sense. You just stuck up a place. You dropped money in your bandana. Evidence. Man, let me tell you something. I got him back to my cousin's apartment, and he was like, yo, come back the next day. I was like, all right, because I got to get up out of here. I went to my grandma's where I was staying, went in my room, and that whole night I didn't sleep, man. A cricket chirped, the wind blew, anything. I wasn't sleeping because I knew I was going down. I knew it. You couldn't tell me I weren't going down. You understand what I'm saying? I just crossed the line, man. I just drove these guys up the street. They just stuck the place. Like, it's over with. Point of no return. No matter what now. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, I never left. So don't nobody know about me but them. Ain't no way I'm going to go down. Right? What y'all think? How you think I went down? If I never left the truck, they were the only ones that seen me. And we talking about how I got 144 years. How y'all think I went down? But anyways, so I go back the next day. My cousin, he pulls out, we all there. He pulls out a blue money bag. He goes up in it. Starts splitting the money. Now, fast forward, I know he done went in there the night before, dug up out of there, you know, got himself, you know, aside, you know, whatever. Part of the game, I guess, right? Part for course. No honor amongst thieves. And he's telling his homeboys and me, he's like, all right, he's giving this so-called gangster spiel speech talk. I don't know what it is, man. He's like, yo, make sure y'all lay low. Don't be no spending no money. Da, 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 da. He just going crazy, right? He's like giving like this whole like mafia mobster type talk, right? I'm like, okay, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I get my money. And by the way, all of that, I didn't even get $1,000 out of that. Somebody said, well, how much did you get? How much did you get away with? Not even $1,000. One thing about me, I'm transparent. I ain't up here making up no stories. Y'all can. Hey, I'm crazy. I had 17 years in prison to think about it. How crazy that was. But that's how much I came off with through that, man. Not even 1,000. We probably, if my cousin had went in there, I probably would have made more than 1,000. But I don't know. But we dipped that day. I take off, boom, and for like 2 weeks, I'm not gonna lie, like as each day passed by, I was super paranoid, but I'm thinking like, okay, I got away with it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said they broke bread at least, but he didn't break the right amount of bread though. But about 2 weeks later, my cousin calls me, and he sounds nervous as I don't know what. He sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, you got to get over here. I can't really talk. Obviously, I know something went crazy. I go over there because I drop everything. I'm over there. But when I pull up to the apartment complex where he lives, I appreciate that. I'm trying to figure out like, yo, we good. I'm looking for the police. I'm looking for undercovers, anything, because I don't know if he's trying to set me up now. And again, I think I'm good. Like, who's going to tell on me, right? Like, they were the only ones that see me. But at the same time, I'm so paranoid. Anything goes. I've watched enough movies to know that. Anything can go. And I pull up to his apartment, and he's like, yo, come on inside. So, boom, we go up in there. We talk, and he starts telling me a story. He's like, yo. He said, man, homeboys on the run, both of them. I said, word? Why? What's up? What happened? He said, the police came here. And my heart stopped. When he said the police came here, it's like my heart just, I can already tell what's about to happen. You ever know, like, you just waiting for that domino to fall, man? If you were ever in the midst of it, like really in the midst of it, not just saying you were, there's a feeling, there's a moment. It's just when you know. When he said that, I knew. And again, nobody seen me but them, but he's like, yo, the police was in here. I'm like, well, why? How did they know to come to the apartment? He's like, man, we were in here playing music. We were enjoying ourselves. And at the time, one of his homeboys moved in his baby moms and his baby in there with him. So they're all four living in that apartment. Loud music's playing. They smell whatever. Boom. Neighbors are walking up the stairs in the apartment, bringing their groceries in. They're concerned because they hear loud music. They smell something funny in the air, and they hear a baby crying. So they make a call to the police. A concerned citizen call. Thing about karma is, man, and watch these next couple minutes what I'm about to tell y'all. The thing about karma is, or whatever, reap what you sow, whatever you want to say, man, you can't escape it, bro. I'll have that argument with anybody, man. You might be able to alter its course or something, I don't know, but it's going to get its due. Because these concerned citizens made the call. The cops came to my cousin's apartment. They knock on the door. He opens the door thinking it's me. Because usually I would come over at the time, but this time I was at my girlfriend's house. I had some other stuff going on. And when he opens the door, the cops smell the funny stuff, you know, whatever it is. The baby's crying. And immediately they like, yo, you gonna let us go up in there and search to my cousin? Or I don't know, we gonna make the call and get the warrants. And to that part, I don't know if he just let them in or they made the call for the warrants. Probably he just let them in. At that point, what are you gonna do? Either way, they coming in. They come in, they don't find anything like crazy. The baby's good. It's just loud music. They weren't being they shouldn't have been smelling, stuff in the air. That weren't right. But they didn't find anything attached to that. But right before they left, he said one of the police officers doubled back into the kitchen and went on top of the cabinet. So I'm like, okay, what did he grab from the top of the cabinet? Like, what did he grab? He's like, he grabbed the money bag. And I'm like, immediately, I'm like, yo, why? Why did you still have the money bag? And he never answered. He's like, look, man, I got to take off. Da, 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 da. He starts running down. Now, he said he's going to get ready to go on the run. He's like, I don't know what you're going to do. I was like, what you mean what I'm going to do? No, nobody know about me. Only y'all know about me, so I'm good, right? He's like, I don't know, man. I was like, what you mean you don't know? He's like, man, because it's just too hot. Da, 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 da. Listen, next thing I know, he's gone. And it got quiet. That was in November. It got quiet. It was like the end of November, beginning of December. And I'm chilling. I'm paranoid because I don't know what happened to everybody. I don't know where everybody's at. I know they're all on the run. And then it's Christmas Eve. And I'm at my grandmother's house. And all of a sudden I get a knock on the door. And I look and it's two detectives. I didn't know they were detectives at first, but I walked over there. They were in their trench coats, the full nine, all that, right? And immediately they pull up a picture or show a picture that had been printed of my cousin who had been hogtied after he tried to take something from a restaurant. And the workers there, they gave him the business. And the cops came and they arrested him. And the other two guys had been picked up for loitering down there in Florida. And immediately when they got picked up because of the suspicion with the money bag, they started talking. People, everybody, man, listen. You can't trust nobody, man. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how long you known your homeboy or you didn't. When they say, hey, you're going to get a life sentence unless you, man, the chances that an individual is going to just take that without giving up some information to lessen the blow is slim to none. Chris, what's good, man? Circle City, what's good? I'm trying to tell y'all, man. We romanticize this thought. We conjure up this thing in our mind that says, yo, me and gang, if we catch a kick, they ain't nobody gonna tell. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. They gonna walk you in there, you and your mans. You gonna be in one room, he gonna be in the other. The detective's gonna go to him, the detective's gonna go to you. They gonna say, hey, what time do you wanna be home with your children and wife? And you gonna say, huh? He gonna say, yeah, all you gotta do is this. And you gonna be like, oh, I ain't doing that. He's like, and then he gonna be like, well, you gonna get a life sentence. Or they just gonna say, hey, look, man, we gonna give you 25 years unless you get your homeboy up. You can go home to your wife and kids and just get up on that stand and testify, or you gonna do that 25 years for him because he gonna take the deal. They already know if you don't take it, he gonna take it, and they gonna let you know. It really depends on who they like or who they trying to get more. Somebody is gonna take that route though. Very few times does everybody just take it, man. It's real, man. So they got to talking. And in February 12th, they would come get me. They would come get me, man. They had issued a warrant, the grand jury indictment. If y'all don't know what a grand jury is, research it. It's a grand jury meets without you. They decide whether or not they gonna give you a warrant. You understand me? Circle City said 95. Yeah, probably. But they had indicted me. And next thing I know, I would begin my journey behind the wall because I didn't run. I knew I wasn't going to run. I turned myself in. People going to be like, yo, you crazy. Yeah, I did. I wasn't going to, where's I going to run? I wouldn't have been able to have no type of quality of life. I would have been looking over my shoulder forever. I wouldn't have ever been able to build a foundation. And hey, they already know what's up because I was in the truck. So whoever told them everything that they evidently they needed to know because they wouldn't have been filing no warrant for me. But anyways, I'm gonna get into when I turn myself in, man, on tomorrow's live, man. It was really crazy, man. Adriel said I should have never came up. I shouldn't have came up, but I should have never been in the truck. I should have never made the decision to go. I should have never, committed to that in the first place, man, because that sent me on a 17-year mission. You know what I'm saying? 17-year mission. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern, man. But yeah, man, tomorrow I'll talk about my journey into jail. And of course, if y'all want to check out the playlist, it's 61 parts. If they're not long, they're all less than 10 minutes, but they tell the whole story from when I got locked up, how I got locked up, and everything that I went through behind the wall. A lot of people been rocking with it. I appreciate it. It's got millions of views. Grateful. You know what I'm saying? Somebody say who I got in a bowl tomorrow. Before I go up off here, let me tell you something, man. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, man, so I don't really care. Yo, I don't really care, man. But I was glad when the Rams lost. Straight up, I'm that guy. Y'all take us out. I want y'all to get took out too, man. We gonna be back, Chicago Bears, next year. 144, man. It's soon to be audio. It's in print. Y'all can definitely check it out, man. Link in bio, man. Y'all, I really appreciate the support on it too because it's been independent. And yeah, I think a movie's coming soon. You know what I'm saying? We putting a prayer up for that, man. Y'all know what it is, man. 144 Prison Pain and the Pathway to Freedom. Check it out. And also, I dropped a re-entry workbook, man. I'm really proud of that. How to Stay Free, a guide to re-entry success for you and your loved one. I'm really proud of myself, man. 2 books in a year, both geared to help us tell the stories of us and more, man. So, anyways, I'll be back up here tomorrow, man. I appreciate y'all support. Y'all already know what it is, man. Peace, love, and most importantly,